welcome to the, I think it's like the third, fourth practice session. I have to look at it again. Anyway, we have Ken out here and we're freezing our butts off out here. It's chilly, but I appreciate you coming out here to practice with me. We actually don't have any cones set up yet, but we're going to pretty quickly. We're probably gonna just do a few exercises because man, it is chilly out here. Actually, I'm curious, what kind of bike are you riding here?
It's an Indian Challenger.
All right. Yeah, okay.
I've had it a couple of years. It's a fun bike.
And you said you were out here at the Melissa practice session, right?
Yes.
So how'd you like that?
Liked it a lot. We had
Cool.
a lot of people that day.
Yeah, we had like 17 some odd people. Oh, I forgot to mention, sorry, this is the channel where we focus on slow speed operations and motorcycle safety, because probably more than 95% of motorcycle accidents happen at slow speeds, 20 miles an hour and below. And so being comfortable on the parking lot, slow speed, is what you want to do, right?
Yep.
Cool, well, let's get to it. Hey guys, so this is the first exercise we set up today. We're going to do some quick starting and stopping, smooth controlled start stops. There's four steps, I guess, to most of the exercises that are done, and you probably have heard those steps before. And it's pretty much everything we're going to be doing out here today, although we're only going to be doing a few exercises.
Okay.
So obviously the first thing you ever want to do is make sure your motorcycle's in first gear. I don't know, how does the Indian?
Yeah, it tells me.
Does it tell you with your clutch?
Tells me in
With your clutch in too, nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, you make sure you're in first gear because you never want to be in neutral when you're starting out, because I'm sure you've had that before.
Yep.
I've had that terrible experience just the other day. I actually accidentally kicked it into neutral while I was in a turn.
Whoa.
Wasn't fun. Anyway, so first gear, and actually you can think of this like a box. It's really easy to think. Box, right? So your first gear is the first step. Then you're on your rear brake.
Yep.
Actually, I'll back up a second here too. I don't know how much you use your front brake on slow speeds.
Seldom.
At slow speeds, especially out here, should be never.
Yeah.
Because have you seen videos about how strong that silly brake is?
Yep.
Cool. All right, so first gear, you're on your rear brake because you're going to be pretty much riding the brake to keep your speed at a controlled slow speed and a nice and controlled stop, smooth stop, right? So first gear on your brake. Keep your throttle up to however you feel comfortable, probably 1500 to 1800 RPM. I guess you have to listen to your bike, and we'll see it in a second. Yeah. And then of course, your clutch is disengaged. So when you're ready to go, you'll slowly let it out. And then, well, from there, you'll go along obviously, but you're gonna be stopping, slow controlled stop, there you go, at each cone.
So at each one?
Each one, nice and slow. And I guess the purpose of this exercise is we're trying to not do jerky stuff, slow, I can't even say it in this cold weather. Yeah. Slow, controlled, go and stop. So, and actually let's see here where you put your throttle normally. So go ahead and start it up. Yeah, you got a good ear. You could probably even do, yeah, right, I was gonna say you dropped it down a little bit. That sounds like good. I guess if it were me, I'd probably have it a little higher, but you know your bike better than I do. So that's probably a good RPM. What are you at right now? Yeah, it's about perfect. Oh, and another thing, get used to how your engine sounds like this. Because when you're in this course, you never want to be looking down here. Right. Always straight ahead. Because there's a camera there, you can look at that, but always straight ahead where you want to go. Okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead. Let's pull up this one. Right here. Good. Yeah. All right. So you're in the first gear, on your rear brake. Load your throttle and come down to the next cones, nice and slow. So that was good. Before you move on, you okay?
I'll go back.
So I'm not sure if you caught what happened there. Basically, your throttle dropped.
Yeah, it did.
So what you need to do is keep the throttle loaded, and at this practice course, one of the things to focus on is to make sure your throttle is loaded at all times. In fact, the rear brake is kind of second and the clutch is kind of second. Don't worry too much about it. You'll feel it. Listen for that engine. Make sure it stays high. And start out nice and slow. Keep on your rear brake. Keep it loaded. Good. Yeah, you got the idea. And keep in mind, you're also practicing pretend like there's a passenger on board.
Yeah.
So if you have a quick start, they get whiplash. Yeah. Wow. Awesome. You're getting it. Okay. You're getting it. Once you come around, come back around. I forgot to mention something else. I don't want you to I want you to feel comfortable with everything. If there's anything you don't feel comfortable with, I don't want you to force you to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's try this again. Keep that throttle loaded. Focus on how that throttle loaded. Slow down, rear brake. So the reason why you want to have the throttle loaded is because you're not going to have much clutch. You're not going to release much clutch because you want to go nice and slow.
Right.
Yep. Good, yeah, you're getting it. I know it feels a little uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you're doing good. Very good. Oh, wow. Okay. Very good. Come back around, then I'll show you. You look like you're getting it, but I'm going to demonstrate it once just so you have a feel for how it looks from the outside. So my bike is in first gear. It already was, but I'm making sure. And you can be close if you want to, unless you can see from there. I'm on my brake. I'm not pressing that hard, just want to make sure I have control. I'm going to load my throttle. That's about good for me. I feel good there. Slowly release the clutch. Still on my brake. On my brake the whole time. I didn't let up off the rear brake.
Sounds much more steady.
And again, that is something, I know some people will say, don't worry about your throttle, set it and forget it. It's tough to do that because if you set it and forget it, actually I should back up.
Yeah, because as soon as I put a load on it, the engine goes way down, so then I have to come up on it.
Exactly,
overshoot.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the people who I've heard say set it and forget it are actually a little more advanced, and they're more used to set it, and now it just goes in the back of their mind, they're going to keep it where it's supposed to be. For folks who haven't been riding that long, it helps to listen to it and focus on the sound of the engine. So okay, let's come on over here. Good job staying off that front brake. All right. So whenever you're ready, nice and slow, get your throttle loaded to where you think it should be. Okay. So I think I see part of the issue here, and it's actually completely normal. People will get their throttle loaded, and then they're letting their clutch out, and their brain says, let's get going faster. So they'll let it out more. But then they tell themselves, I'm not supposed to be going fast, so press on that rear brake.
Exactly right.
My suggestion to you, let that clutch out much slower. And once you feel yourself moving, still keep letting out slowly.
Okay.
Don't jump right into it. Yeah, there you go. Good. And I saw you were feeling, you're working with your handlebars, and doing this exercise, that's actually completely normal. I don't want you to go fast because that begins to give control over the bike. Good job. Watch that throttle. So good, yeah.
I hit the front brake that time.
Sorry?
I did hit the front brake that time.
Okay, yep. I think you're subconsciously letting out the clutch more. Concentrate on keeping that throttle up. Do you feel yourself wanting to let the clutch out more and go?
Yeah.
It's good. Good. And right now we're not stopping at the cones, but that's okay. We're focused. So the part of this exercise is you stop at the cones, but I'm not worried about that right now. Right now what I want you to focus on is getting that throttle where you want it and using your clutch gingerly. Keep that throttle up. Yeah, good. Try it again. Good job, Ken. You're working on getting the feel for where that throttle should be. Steady throttle is key in all of these exercises. I'm seeing some progression already right now with that throttle last time. Yep. Nice and slow. Remember, the key here is not speed. The key here is throttle and a little bit of clutch let out. And stay on your rear brake. Keep that throttle up. Yeah, good. Good. Yeah. I saw you, you noticed your throttle was dropping, so you brought it up a little bit. Just make sure you bring that clutch in a little bit if you have to, because you don't want to stomp too hard. Yeah, okay. Good. Maybe one more time, but I think he's getting the hold of it, getting the hang of it. And I think we'll move on to another exercise here. There's an exercise that teaches you to keep your feet on the the footboards. Have you seen that one before?
No.
Okay, cool. Then have you heard of the exercise that Robert calls trust and believe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The one that most people dislike, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to get, it can be tough to get the hang of. But let's do this. Let's actually, I'm going to bring the camera down here. So it's the same first 4 steps. You're going to make sure your bike is in first gear. You're going to cover your rear brake, but I don't want you pressing on it. There's no need to out here because the ground is level, but do have your foot on the rear brake to cover it.
Okay.
You're going to preload your throttle. Whoa, I used that term again. That's all right though. I'm so used to watching Robert's channel. I use that term. Anyway, you load your throttle. Keep it up that 1500 to 1800, whatever you were comfortable with. That sounded good. And you're going to have your clutch in, of course, when you're at that point. The next step is to find your friction zone. Right. I'll show you that in a second. Once you find your friction zone, you get back out of it. Keep your throttle loaded. Your throttle hasn't dropped down yet. Keep that throttle loaded. Then your head and eyes straight forward, looking at the camera, or looking in front of you is the point. You're going to bring this other foot up. Get that feeling just slightly of falling, because the whole point of this exercise is to train your brain. If you start falling, let your clutch out. Yep. Just to start falling, slightly start falling. It's so cold I can't talk. Yep. Then let your clutch out just slowly. Once you get your bike controlled again, come to a controlled stop. Okay. Does that make sense? Yep. I'll show you. So here we go. So I'm in first gear already, I know that. I'm on my rear brake, covering it. It's about good for me for a load. There's my friction zone. You can see the bike barely moving. And come back out of it, lift my foot up and do it. Need to see it again? Be helpful to see it again, or are you good? Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. All right, remember, the key to this exercise is you're training your brain that when you feel yourself falling, let the clutch out slowly.
Right.
And that means, slowly of course, you don't want to pop it out, because if you pop it out,
Right.
that could cause some issues with, making the bike go weird way. Let it out slowly. Keep that throttle loaded. So no matter what, if you start falling, let the clutch out. You find that? Good, you found it, okay. Keep that throttle loaded. Good. Yep, you're getting the idea. You got the idea. What's that?
A little jerky.
That's okay, you're getting the idea. You got a bunch of symbols, are those okay? I guess you got low tire and...
Yeah.
Are you aware of those?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's,
As long as you're good.
Sometimes they come on if I just leave it on. I had the power on for a while, and so they came up. So it takes a while to clear them.
It's probably the cold weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, let's try it again. That was good job. That was a good job for your first time, Ken. Wow. He said he was a little herky-jerky on that one, but that's understandable. It's the first time you've done it today.
Again.
So, I'll ask you a question. What do you think is a good reason or a possible reason that that's happening?
I'm not
Yep,
a low throttle.
you're getting there.
Yeah.
There's a low throttle and the clutch comes out. Yep, you got it. First gear, cover your brake, throttle. Find that clutch friction zone. There you go. Good job. Okay, no worries, I got you here. Remember, if you have that happen, put your foot back on the footboard and just let your clutch out.
Yeah.
But you did good. You did great. Okay, I do notice something here. I don't know how hard you're pressing on your rear brake. Are you trying to keep yourself still with your rear brake right now?
What's that?
Are you trying to keep yourself stationary still with your rear brake?
Yeah.
Be careful how hard you press on it. So, but you're doing good. Just light pressure right now. Actually, like I said, this is level ground. Just cover it. Don't even need to be pressing it. Keep that throttle up. It's a little low. Good. Good, good. Keep the throttle up. Good. Getting it, Ken. We didn't stop at the end, but that's okay. We're getting there. Getting the feel for the clutch throttle balance. That was a fantastic job with the throttle. All I had to do was say throttle and you brought it right back up and you had no issues. Good job. Add a stop at the end. A controlled stop. Hey, your clutch is way out there, just like mine. You probably noticed this already, but on that one you were moving before you let your clutch out.
Oh, did I?
Oh, sorry, you were moving before you brought your foot up.
Okay.
Keep that throttle up, remember. So, first gear, cover the brake, throttle, find your friction zone. Yeah, good job. Let's do that again. So every time you do this, I'm seeing a little improvement already.
Yeah, I know.
I will suggest, even when you come up to this exercise, practice exercise, that first exercise that we did. Remember, when you're going between these cones, nice and easy get going, nice and easy controlled stop. Do that when you come up here too. Do you feel yourself go like that at the end?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, good job. Keep that throttle loaded. You had that one too. You had it. Good job. Oh, you all right?
Yeah, good.
So, I kind of noticed that you are fighting. You may be fighting to keep your throttle in a certain range.
Yeah.
It's less important to make sure your throttle is not too high. You don't want to burn out your engine, your clutch,
Right.
but just make sure it's. You know what? Never mind. You're doing good. Just keep going. Forget it.
I pushed it the other direction.
You
See,
push.
what
What do
I'm
you
worried
mean?
is I'm leaning too far. But you're right. It's just a matter of as soon as that's up, I gotta go.
There you go. Good job, and you stopped too. I'll make sure it's still recording. That'd be disappointing if it wasn't. Okay, good. Slow improvements, awesome stuff. So one thing that I've heard people say before, and I haven't seen you do this yet, but keep in mind the purpose of this exercise is not to see how long you can balance and be cool.
Yeah.
The purpose of the exercise is to teach you to keep your feet on the footboards. And so, yes, you want to wait until you just slightly feel yourself falling,
Right.
but I guess what I'm trying to say is you don't want to feel like you have to wait until the last minute.
I got it. Thanks.
The purpose is to train your brain.
Right.
That's it. You're there. You are so there. And you know what? If you had let the clutch out just slowly or just slightly and throttled out, you would have been fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. It's okay though. You're retraining your brain. Good. You're all right. It's so difficult to retrain your brain away from the natural instincts that it has of pulling the clutch in and putting your foot down. But Ken's doing a good job.
Strong reflex though.
Yep. Yeah. So what you're doing right now is you're overcoming a natural instinct
Yeah.
to number one, pull the clutch in,
Yeah.
and number two, put your foot down. You're overcoming that, and you're doing a good job. Yep. You know what?
Yeah.
I saw it again. I saw the opportunity when that happens, let the clutch out. You are there. You are right there. Yep. You're there. So I see a lot of progression, and I'm going to make a suggestion.
Yeah.
I suggest we do this. If you want to do this, I'm going to do this one more time. If you want to do it more, I'm cool with that.
No, that's okay.
After the one time, and then we'll go to the right and left turn from the stop.
Okay,
I see a
sounds
lot
good.
of progression here. This is
Sounds
awesome. Oh, and by the way, you don't want to practice this particular exercise anywhere but in an empty parking lot, right?
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous to practice on the street. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You ended on a high note.
Woo.
Yeah, right there. Well, that's a clutch hand. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. You've probably seen this exercise before.
Oh yeah.
Right and left turn from the stop. Now, the purpose of this exercise, you're practicing driving over something that is loose, like gravel road or whatever the case may be. So, in that case, when you are turning, the one thing you don't want to do in this particular exercise,
Lean,
you know about that, to lean. Okay, you don't want to lean. And I want to get someday to have some taller cones here. I'll have to watch you in the camera. So, what we need to do here is go through the same 4 exercises, or the same 4 steps. We're going to do the first gear. So cold here, I can't even think. First gear, make sure you're on your rear brake, clutch right before the friction zone, and then the throttle.
Yep.
Preload your throttle. But now there's 2 more steps here. Okay. And this one, the camera is gonna be in whichever way we're going. You're gonna turn your head nice to look at the camera. You're not looking at any cones. Turn your head nice, look at the camera, and then turn your steering wheel. Turn your forks, turn your handlebars.
Yep.
When you get to the point of turning.
Yep.
That make sense?
Yep.
Same, just 2 more steps. And I'll show you. You've probably seen it done before, but I'll give you a quick demonstration. I'm gonna go all 3 ways. So the way that I've usually seen this done is first we'll go straight through, and you're gonna do them in steps. So we're gonna focus on the left side first and then the right side. So straight through, and then stop here, and then go through. So turn from a stop, and then stop, turn, stop. So I'll show you. First one straight through. And remember, no lean. So this is actually one of the slowest exercises out here. Probably 1, 2, maybe 3 miles an hour. So remember how slow you're going with the warm-up, kind of a warm-up exercise between the cones? About that speed. Maybe a little faster, but nice and slow here. Go left first. First gear, covering my rear brake, loading my throttle, friction zone. Head and eyes, turn the handlebars. Straight through. Coming from a stop. And when I am approaching this exercise, I'm looking forward, not at the camera. When I'm ready to turn, that's when I turn my head. One of our previous exercises, I had people back here, like a good 6 feet out, already turning their head to look at the camera. A little too early. Wait till you're ready to turn. All right, coming from a stop. Now I'm looking where I'm going. And lastly, stop here, and still going nice and slow, controlled slow. Turn my head, handlebars, stop. Real quick. So I was going slow, kind of dramatizing it, just to show you it is possible to do that. I'm not expecting you to do that. I'm not. I'm expecting you to avoid injuring yourself. Keep your feet on the footboard.
Okay.
If you feel at some point that you're unable to do the turn, don't put your foot down right out of the exercise. Okay. I don't care. Well, as many people will say, these cones, they don't get hurt. You won't hurt them. But don't look at them. Don't look at them. Okay, go ahead. So, remember your first 4 steps. First gear, rear brake, throttle, clutch for the friction zone. Then remember to turn your head and eyes, because the first one we're going through, straight through, no stop. And then your handlebar. But I do want you to work on 2 things. 1, throttle. Keep your throttle loaded at all times. 2, if you feel you're about to go out of the exercise, just go out of the exercise. Don't stop. Don't try to put your foot down. Okay. It's okay to run out. Okay. I'm going to go switch my helmet out. Go ahead. Turn your head and eyes. Yeah, good. Yes. Good job, Ken. Good first job. Excellent and outstanding. I saw you wanted to stop and put your foot down. You didn't. You didn't. So we'll talk about that. The head and eyes, it'll help you if you go a little bit quicker on that head and eyes earlier.
Flattening your toes.
So I don't care as long as you don't stare at them. I don't care. Hit them if you and I'll fix those in a minute. Your throttle was awesome, but I do want to say one thing. When you get to about here, you turn your head and eyes. That's too late.
Too late?
What you want to do, because remember, not only does your motorcycle go where your head and eyes are looking, but you also need to see what's coming for safety reasons. So really, I mean, the same thing when you're in a car, right? If you get right about here, you're going to be looking this way already to see if there's anything coming. So,
It's a little late to turn in my head.
yeah, and like I said, you don't want to do it too early, but from what I've seen in this exercise, maybe right about here or so. I mean, wherever you feel comfortable, but to me, when I get right about here, I'm already turning my head and eyes. Just for safety reasons.
Got it.
But throttle, I love that throttle. And you didn't even put your foot down. He was doing trustability. Yes, good job. He did not put his foot down. It's okay to run out of the exercise. We're still learning this. So this is a little funny. I've seen this before. After people are finished doing that trust and believe exercise, they start continuing to do it through the other exercises.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that anymore.
Okay.
I don't know if you were trying to do that.
I was trying to do it.
Okay, yeah, that was only for that exercise.
Okay.
Only for that exercise. So now, go ahead and get moving. And once we forgot to mention that, sorry. So you got the first gear, rear brake, covering the rear brake, keeping your throttle loaded, clutch right before the friction zone, right before the friction zone. And then as you let your clutch out, you pick up your foot.
Yeah.
Once this bike starts moving, don't pick up your foot before that.
Got it.
Good job otherwise. Yep, that's okay. There was a little bit of speed in that one. So there was a little bit of unsteadiness and I could see it.
Yeah.
But I think that stemmed from the fact that as you came down the entryway, you started picking up a little bit of speed and you actually had to lean a little bit.
A little too much.
And that threw you off.
Yeah.
That's why you put your foot down. So nice and slow. There you go. There you go. Good. Yes. Yes.
Better.
Absolutely. Talk about progression. I love this. Man, awesome progression. And if you feel comfortable starting from up here, you can do that too. This is fine. We're still working the kinks out. You're going to be able to ride around in a parking lot with confidence in no time. You're starting to gain a little bit of speed around that corner. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
And that's why you didn't have much lean, but there's a little bit. And actually your bag went right over top of this. So concentrate on keeping your throttle where it should be and keeping your bike straight up and down, nice and slow. Oh wow, I'm so impressed with you right now. Wow. Okay, I know I'm giving you a lot. I'm trying to not give you too much.
Yeah.
What you did right there was perfect, but I could see your brain saying, wait a minute, I'm going too slow, or sorry, going too fast. I need to slow it down. And because of that, you started slowing down too much and you put your foot down.
Yep.
So this exercise, yes, it's important to keep your bike slow. Primary importance at all times, anywhere on this cone course. Primary importance. Keep your feet on the footboard, and if you have to ride out of the exercise, do that.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
I don't want you to put your foot down ever, if at all possible.
All
But that actually, interestingly enough, that problem to me shows that you're progressing because you're moving to being able to think about, okay, I got to keep it slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool, good job. Yes. I know he's running out of the exercise. It's not the concern right now. Keep the foot on the footboards, and he's keeping it nice and slow. This is a hard exercise. So right now I'm actually pretty darned impressed. This is one of the harder exercises out here. You're doing a fantastic job. I know you're feeling yourself running over cones. Not a big deal. You're focused on keeping it slow, keeping the bike upright, and keeping your feet on the footboards. Good job. You saw a little bit of herky-jerkiness in that motorcycle. It's because he's pressing the rear brake, and so your rear brake is causing your motorcycle to jump a little bit. At this point, if you want to correct that, it's just a matter of not going like this so hard in your brake.
Yeah.
But right now, I think you're doing awesome. But just keep going. We'll correct this if we need to. Good job. Okay, I just noticed something else, Ken. I understand. So one more thing. And I noticed that now I'm starting to notice these little nitpicky things that I think will help you a lot.
Okay.
You look like you're really, really nervous going through this exercise.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you,
Yeah, I'm real tense.
first focus on two things. Focus on your throttle control, or you're keeping your throttle loaded. Focus on going nice and slow, and focus on no matter what, right out of the exercise.
Okay.
Don't put your foot down. Because the more tense you are, the more your motorcycle riding, how it handles will reflect that.
Okay.
So relax, throttle, rear brake a little bit, keep your foot on the footboard. Yep. 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 Ken, there was a night and day difference on that one. There was a night and day difference.
Yeah.
I saw you. You didn't look nervous at all.
No.
Oh my gosh. Remember, keep a little.
Real smooth.
You were approaching going a little. You weren't too fast, but just keep it that speed or below. Wow, that was impressive. Yeah, there we go again. Yep. Okay, we're getting there. So now, unless you want to do it more, which is fine, let's start with the rolling up to here from a stop. And now, remember the key to this is, and actually I would, once you back up by just a foot or two, I want to give you some space. Yeah, that's good. Now, this is close to where you were before, wasn't it? That's all right. So now you're starting this left turn from a stop. And in this case, you're actually pretty close to this cone, so your baggage is probably going to go over it, and that's okay. We're just going to go through this one time. Okay. When you come up for your approach next time, actually, you know what? Go ahead and go, oops. Go ahead and go through and stop out here.
Oh, go through.
Yeah, just go through. Okay. Now No, I'm just doing this for you to show you how we want to work this particular exercise. I don't want you to normally stop out of here. When you come for your approach, stop, go.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead and go from here. Stop. Now the first thing you do, you gotta look, turn your head and eyes first, right? Good job. Keep that throttle loaded. Keep your throttle up. So keeping your throttle loaded is not just for the start of the, when you're trying to get going. It's also over here.
Right.
Okay?
I let off.
Yep. Yep, good head and eyes, good head and eyes. Oh, we're not stopping there yet. Good job. So right now we're stopping here and going through a couple more times. So you're doing an excellent job. I'm gonna stay on this side. Yep, good, it's okay. He worked it out. He did not put his feet down. That's good. So actually, I confused you earlier. I was just trying to make sure that when you're out here, you're coming in, stop here and then go. You don't have to stop twice. Don't have to stop 3 times. That was my fault. My fault. Good. Stop. Now before you even move, when you're starting from a stop, turn your head and eyes to where you're going. I'll tell them that's on camera. Good. Now when you're coming from a stop, turning immediately from a stop, before you even move, you should already be looking where you're going.
Okay.
This is when you're stopping, when you're immediately turning from a stop. Good. Head and eyes and then handlebars. Hurrah! Yeah! This kind of progression is pretty rare. I must say that. Wow. Okay, come to a stop on the other end now. A nice controlled stop. Nice head and eyes. Very nice head and eyes. Yeah, there we go. Rinse and repeat. Yep, and then head and eyes and go. Nice and slow and controlled. Oh yeah! Good job. I'm gonna go the other way now. Steps are the exact same. Now you're just going the opposite way. Start with a straight through. Nice, yes. Very beautiful, I love that one. Straight through. Like butter. You know what I love about what you're doing right now?
Yeah.
It looks like you're not even worried about the throttle anymore.
I'm not.
Looks like the throttle is there.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Whatever it is.
Really cool. Are you in neutral?
Yeah, I'm slipping.
Oh, you know, does your cable need to be adjusted? This is a cable clutch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you definitely, you're not in neutral, you're in first gear?
Yeah. Look, clutch it down.
Oh, wow. So Ken has had some clutch issues. Hopefully he got those resolved. He just adjusted his cable. That's what we're hoping the problem is. That he was letting his clutch out all the way and there was no movement, so that's a bad thing. He's running it around to see if it's still workable, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we continue this exercise or not. Well, that was an outstanding practice I had with Ken just now. A lot of fun to see the progression that he had, the progression of his comfort level with the throttle control, the clutch control, and whatnot. Unfortunately, there's an issue with his clutch, and he's going to have to take it to someplace to help him out. But ending on an absolutely astounding note. Good stuff. Anyway, yeah, it's been a chilly day today, but this has been well worth coming out here. Nice short practice, but wow, lots of fun. It's good, lots of fun to see that progression. All right, guys, another practice session completed, it in the books. Ken, great job out here working on the throttle control and keeping the throttle loaded. Incredible progression. As I saw some confidence building in him, and it was just a fun practice, fun time to watch and see him grow. I will say that one of the main focuses should be at the primary, the fundamental level, where the main focus is to keep your throttle at the sufficient RPM to give yourself the ability to have power to the rear wheel when you need it, to rear wheel when you need it. So practice session's done, a lot of fun. Only went through a few exercises. That's fine, a little chilly out here. It worked out well. Unfortunately, Ken had some issues with his clutch, so he had to take off. But all in all, not that I would want to have anybody to have problems with their clutch, but it was good timing in that he had gotten a lot of exercises or a lot of practice in, and some incredible progression, as I said. So best wishes to him getting his clutch done, getting his clutch fixed. Hope he is able to get that done and get home safely. And that is, I guess that's it for today. And the practice session completed, a lot of fun. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, so unfortunately there's some clutch issues with Ken's bike, and he ended up having to take it in, get it looked at, get it worked on. But since I had this exercise set up, I decided to mess around with it myself, get a little more practice in. A little more practice never hurts. But as I'm sitting here editing this video, I realized, hey, I'm going to leave this in because it's a good example of how the steadiness of the throttle is really helpful, quite helpful in running these exercises. As you're watching this, me playing around on the bike, listen to the throttle. Notice how I keep it. Notice how I keep it steady throughout the exercise, throughout what I'm doing. Generally speaking, I mean, you hear a little bit of fluctuation here and there, but that steadiness of that throttle is pretty fundamental. It's pretty useful in keeping a smooth rider experience.